because it is going to lead to problems, let me tell you. But viewers, today was a special day. India marked its 76th Constitution Day with the Prime Minister leading Parliament in hailing the Constitution as a sacred document that has guided the nation's progress. In a letter, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reminded every citizen of their constitutional duty. Prime Minister said action of, quote, ours should strengthen it and further national goals and interests, unquote. And then the Prime Minister went on to add, and I quote, it is our responsibility to fulfill the dreams envisioned by the framers of our Constitution. When we work with this sense of duty, our nation's social and economic progress will multiply manifold, unquote. As if to underline the point, the House paid a meaningful tribute by reading the preamble in unison. Listen, viewers, as we play out an excerpt.
हम भारत के लोग भारत को एक संपूर्ण प्रभुत्व संपन्न सामाजिक पंथनिरपेक्ष लोकतंत्रात्मक गणराज्य बनाने के लिए तथा उसके समस्त नागरिकों को सामाजिक, आर्थिक और राजनैतिक न्याय, विचार, अभिव्यक्ति, विश्वास, धर्म और उपासना की.
But the irony, viewers, is that the House read words of the preamble that weren't part of the Constitution originally. Our founders had adopted a very different looking and sounding preamble. Socialist and secular were inserted, in fact, by the 42nd Amendment. Viewers, and that happened during the emergency period in 1976. Yes, words socialist and secular were added much later. Sovereign Democratic Republic changed to Sovereign Socialist Secular Democratic Republic. Unity of the nation changed to Unity and Integrity of the nation. Worse, the amendment itself was pushed through during an emergency later called unconstitutional by the Supreme Court when most of the opposition was jailed. The deeper irony, the Supreme Court continues to uphold an amendment passed in the absence of democratic dissent that it itself said came during an unconstitutional period in our history. History shows both Dr. Ambedkar and Prime Minister Nehru opposed inserting these very words in the preamble. Even viewers, Sardar Patel had a problem with it. Here is Dr. Ambedkar and his opposition to these words. He said the policy of the state must be decided by the people themselves. Cannot be laid down in the Constitution itself. This will destroy democracy altogether. So viewers, the Constitution only safeguards our democracy. If the Constitution itself, the preamble to which has been changed because of an act of illegal, unconstitutional desecration, then viewers, what is suffering? Democracy. The excesses the Congress has heaped upon the Constitution, however, did not stop the party from claiming today that India was laboring under an undeclared emergency under Modi's NDA, and these responses, viewers, came in response to the Prime Minister's letter to the nation. The remark led to a sharp reply from the BJP, which accused the Congress of hypocrisy. The tussle has, of course, brought the focus back on the basic question: for who is the Constitution an article of faith, so to speak? The NDA, to its credit, has never been found out by the Supreme Court for having murdered the essence of the Constitution. Neither have any of its laws or policies been favorable to one community or people, abusing the very definition of secularism. By that simple test, can we say that the NDA has proved itself to be a better guardian of constitutionalism? That's the fundamental question we are asking. And let's begin first with Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, where do you weigh in on this particular debate?
Well, the fact of the matter is nobody has killed, murdered, annihilated the Constitution more than these hypocrites who are saying they are here to protect the Constitution, and I mean Rahul Gandhi and his acolytes and the Congress. Right from the very first go in 1950, when Nehru amended the so-called First Amendment to our Constitution, curbed and curtailed and stomped upon the free speech. And you would have supporters out here like Nikhil Jain supporting the curbing of the free speech. I bet you go to him and he would support Nehru's First Amendment. He would say it is needed. These guys have even supported Indira's emergency. They've never apologized for it. These guys have even supported the FCRA amendment that allowed conviction of Congress and BJP to be annulled. They would support it. This is the problem out here. And right now, when you have Rahul Gandhi brandishing that so-called red book, I'm sure it's got blank pages inside because he doesn't know how to read, just like many of his supporters. The fact of the matter is, he says brazenly, if he comes to power, he will be the first one to demolish the 50% reservation ceiling that has been appended by the Constitution and Supreme Court. They don't care about the Constitution because 108 and more amendments have been conducted by them. On the other hand, tell me more than one instance where Modi has changed the Constitution. One. Knowingly, on his own. There is not a single example of that. Just one example exists, and that is overturning the SC/ST Act amendment by the Supreme Court, that too with the support of the Congress and all opposition parties. So, talking is easy, but action is the one that defines. And there is no one more fascist and more bigoted than the Congress, who does every waking day demolish our Constitution.
Well, quick response. Let me bring in Nilufar Masood, who is an advocate and the national spokesperson of the National Conference. Nilufar ji, how do you respond to Dr. Ranganathan calling out the hypocrisy of the Congress? Of course, the Congress party today has come out and accused the Modi government of an undeclared emergency, imposing an undeclared emergency on India.
Rahul, first of all, I would like to pay rich tribute to the framers of the Constitution who gave us one of the best constitutions. In fact, the word secular and socialist, it was not there. That is rightly said by you, and it was added by way of 42nd Amendment 1976. But the word secular, as we have read about Article 14, read with Article 15, and then 25 to 28, then Article 51A, which speaks about the equality, which speaks about the religious freedom. Impliedly, it was there, but to clarify the things that our country does not have one religion, that is the reason word secular was added. And with respect to the socialism, it was because of the reason the socialist was added by way of the same, because Article 38, then Article 39, 41, it speaks about the distribution, equal wealth and all that. So impliedly it was there. Just to clarify the things, these words were added by way of the 42nd Constitution. I don't think that it was not there. It has been incorporated, be it emergency or whatever. I would fall in that debate. Why in emergency it was implemented by that Congress government, I would go in that debate. But the thing is, those things which were already embedded in our Constitution, by way of clarifying these things, they have added these two words.
So can I ask you a question, Ms. Masood, please? You said, and let me quote you, that we must congratulate the founders who gave us one of the best constitutions. You said these words, yes, right? Do you know what draft Article 306A was?
Fuzzy.
You read it for me.
I'll tell you what it was. It was adopted into the Indian Constitution. It was a temporary provision that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir, allowing it to have its own constitution and autonomy over internal matters. That later became Article 370. Now, so viewers, I want to, one second. And it became, one second, now don't let me, now viewers, now they will start not letting me speak. So they said it's a beautiful constitution, but the national, there you go, lower his fader. Viewers, the National Conference spokesperson says we must thank, one second, madam, one second, madam, one second, ma'am, 1 second, please. Okay, 1 second, madam, 1 second. Give me 30 seconds. I'm not saying anything which is the untruth. Right. So basically, viewers, she said, the National Conference spokesperson says that we must thank the founders for giving us one of the best constitutions, but the National Conference itself did not want that constitution to apply to it. It wanted a separate constitution of its own. And so they fought tooth and nail for Article 370 that even somebody like Sardar Patel had a problem with, to the point that he had to quit eventually the cabinet of Nehru. इतना खराब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था मैडम कि आप लोगों को अपना चाहिए था. ये क्या मतलब हुआ? मुझे समझाइए, ये कैसे हो सकता है?
क्यों नहीं हो सकता है? क्यों नहीं हो सकता? It was a princely state. It had its own constitution. तो अगर अपना constitution आ जाता है,
other states were also princely. They were not pauper states. वो भी थोड़े princely states थे, but they adopted the Indian constitution. Acha, then tell me, madam, if the constitution is so beautiful, should we have the UCC because it's a directive principle? So I'm asking you, ma'am, Ms. Masood, if the constitution is so beautiful, if you believe in it.
295 laws were already implemented.
Okay. Let me ask you, ma'am. If the constitution was so beautiful.
370 was abrogated, we were given to understand that it is connected with the terrorism. And today we are seeing the terrorist attack more dangerous than those which used to happen.
So let me ask you a second question, ma'am, because you're so well read, you're an advocate of the law. Can I ask you a second question? If the constitution was so beautiful, one of its directive principles of state policy say that we should aspire towards a UCC, a Uniform Civil Code. Do you support that beautiful vision?
See, there are different religions in our. It is not one religion based our country. It believes into the unity and diversity.
No, but the constitution said the directive principles, which are aspirational goals and very well founded, they say that a UCC. So let me ask Tausif Khan this question. It's understood, ma'am. I understand your compulsion. Let me ask Tausif Khan, because he's a liberal progressive Muslim, and he says very, very clearly to all of us that he is somebody who is well schooled in the law. I'm sure, sir, you would say that it's a beautiful constitution and this constitution should be protected. So one of its directive principles states that we should aspire towards a UCC. Do you support this goal? This directive principle
Rahul,
of state policy.
In the very beginning, you said that today our Prime Minister, whom and so many other ministers, the cabinet and the president, was reading the preamble of the Constitution, which was not originally there. Now, that's first lie that you said. This entire critique of inclusion of secularism, say the word secular and socialist, has been addressed by the landmark judgment of Keshav Nanda Bhapti case, where a constitution bench of 13 judges sat on it and delivered the judgment. It is followed by S.R. Bommai, the judgment, again in Minerva Mills judgment. So the collective wisdom of all these judges, you are trying to insult through this.
Rahul, he said he goes by one book, and that is Constitution.
That's why I was asking him. I was going to come back and say this to him, but look at the answer, viewers, and let me tell you, I even said, you see, viewers, I don't have to agree in letter and spirit. Thank goodness, because we're a democracy guaranteed by the Constitution with the Supreme Court. I don't have to be a yes man nodding like this every time the Supreme Court comes out with something. I have a problem with the Supreme Court first coming out and saying that the emergency, let me finish, sir, that the Constitution, that the emergency was unconstitutional. Then going ahead and upholding the two changes that were made during an unconstitutional period. I mean, it defies logic.
All these is addressed by the Supreme Court.
Doesn't matter, sir. I'm not convinced. I'm a citizen. Can I not be convinced? Can I not be convinced? Can I not be convinced, sir? Can I not be can I not be excuse me? Can I not be Oh, it's not by debate. Sir, then tell me something. When the Supreme Court ruled, when the Supreme Court ruled on Shah Bano, why did you when the Supreme Court ruled on Shah Bano, when the Supreme Court ruled on several when the Supreme Court stop shouting. Sir, can I ask you a question? The Supreme Court ruled on watering down criminality of same-sex equations, homosexuality. Do you support that?
I personally do not support that.
You do not support it. See, viewers, they can disagree when they want with the Supreme Court.
Yes.
But Rahul Shivshankar can't. This is
In Gujarat,
democracy.
alcohol is banned.
My
In
God,
Gujarat,
viewers.
alcohol is banned.
I mean,
Why
look
don't
at
you
these
ban it
chaps.
across the
Look at these
country?
chaps on the
Why in
debate tonight.
Maharashtra
They are
alcohol is allowed?
they are so
Why alcohol
blinkered
is
by
allowed in
ideology
Maharashtra and banned in
that they
Gujarat?
can't even see the contradictions that they land themselves in on national
No,
TV
what
in
is
front
the
of millions of
contradiction?
viewers.
You see the
One
Because
second,
you are
contradiction
Mr.
making
Mr. Siddharth,
contradiction. Fundamental
Mr.
rights
Siddharth
are
Yadav
not
wants to come in.
implemented at your
So they
government
said,
and
viewers,
all.
that they love the Indian Constitution. That's the only book they believe in. So I asked them, the Constitution says that the directive principles of state policy, which is a part of the Constitution, says we should all aspire to a UCC. And they have a problem with that.
Yes.
About the fundamental
Yes,
rights.
aspire to
You
UCC.
talk about
They have a problem with
equality.
that, viewers.
You talk about-
Alcohol.
you-
So they don't
Ban
believe in the
alcohol across the
Constitution.
country.
They don't believe in the
You don't
articles,
ban
the
alcohol
letter and the
across
spirit of the Constitution,
Why
but they will
are
shout
you
at me.
answer it?
Anyhow, Siddharth
Ban
Yadav.
alcohol across the country. Why
Now you know,
alcohol is
viewers, who's
allowed in
upholding the
Maharashtra
Constitution and who's not.
banned in
Rahul.
Gujarat?
Yes, Siddharth Yadav. इतने गरम हो गए.
Rahul, I think on this day today, when we are celebrating the Constitution Day, I think listening to arguments like words secular and socialist were added for more clarification. I think at least today we should have learned panelists who know about the Constitution of our country. What was the Constitution?
No
What
better
secular would you, to oversimplify, what would you explain? What is that you wanted to explain with the secular? The Constitution, the original draft that was made, part 2 of that Constitution, wherein citizenship is explained, there is a picture of a yaj being organized by rishis in a gurukul. When part 3 of the Constitution, which speaks about the fundamental rights, a photo is there which is of Prabhu Shri Ram, Mata Sita and Lakshmanji, Ram Rajya, because you cannot imagine fundamental rights in a country like India without upholding the values of Ram Rajya. In the directive principles of state policy, in the part 4, there is the first picture of Shri Krishna giving Gita Gyan to Arjun in Kurukshetra, because the state is supposed to be held and go ahead by the high values of wisdom which are embodied in Gita. That is our Constitution. But over the years, what you have done is that you have killed that spirit of the Constitution. You have tried to change it with your own fantasies, and that is why today when you speak of the Constitution, it is nothing more than hilarious. You should be asked, what did Nehru do with the first amendment? What did Indira Gandhi do in the emergency period? What happened to 124 and 217? What happened to the superseding the judges of the Supreme Court? Why did you not give NCPC the constitutional status? When the NSE was formed, wherein Sonia Gandhi was given the highest post, it was the biggest disrespect to a constitutional position. Why did not you speak then? But you were the killers of the Constitution. हत्या करी आप लोगों ने संविधान की, और आज संविधान बचाने के लिए निकल जाते हैं. The people who had allianced with Muslim League, who does not believe in Constitution, are speaking for the Constitution. This is hilarious.
Can I ask you, Nikhil Jain,
Constitution was
a
not
simple
applicable
question?
In Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay,
because
can I
of
ask you a
Article
simple
317,
question,
you
Nikhil
were
Jain?
against the abrogation of Article 317.
Okay, let me ask you a simple question. We all love the Constitution. Rahul Gandhi carries a pocket version of it, right? So can I ask you, why is it that the new Congress office is called Indira Bhavan, the person who brought in emergency and pretty much sacked the Constitution?
Rahul Gandhi, I'm sorry. Rahul, can I please first respond to the things that have been said in the debate?
Why is it called the Indira Bhavan, sir?
I have been noting.
No, why
down
is
the
it called
points
the
that I
Indira
want to
Bhavan?
speak
Why
on the
shouldn't
debate.
it have been called something else, like Sardar Patel Bhavan?
Rahul, I've been noting down points to respond to. There are 2 minutes left in the debate. You throw me with this question. First you say, Rahul,
I want to ask you,
can
why
I please
has it
respond?
been
Can I
called
please
the Indira
respond?
Bhavan?
Can I please respond?
I'm asking you,
Rahul,
sir.
There's no point if I'm here to only answer your rapid fires. Can I just respond to the topic that is being discussed?
I'm
How
asking
is it
you, it's
relevant?
very,
We're talking about the
it
Constitution.
is
We're
very
talking about the
intrinsically
Constitution. We're
linked.
talking
Why
about
would you
Constitution
honor
debates.
somebody?
We're talking about
Why
the
would you
values of the
honor
Constitution.
somebody
Why
for,
are we talking
why
about
would
why
you
the
want
Congress
to
office is
honor
named in a certain
somebody
manner?
who sacked?
Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India that was much revered, and she may have been the one who imposed the emergency, and she's received a fair degree of flack.
You have to prove it.
We are not
Dr. Ranganathan, you'll have to bring out the Britannica to prove it again that she actually did sack.
This is not the way to carry out a debate. Rahul, this is not the way to carry out a debate. Every time I speak, Dr. Ranganathan interjects. The moment I make a remark against him, He
I'm
feels so
making
bad about
facial
it. You feel so
expressions.
bad about it. How is this fair? How is this fair? You do not allow me to speak till the very last minute of the debate, and the moment I start speaking, both of you jump on and start interjecting. Can I please respond to the points?
So I
that are
asked
being
you a
discussed in
question.
the
That's the
debate?
question I
Indira
asked you
Gandhi,
because
Indira
it's
Gandhi.
intrinsically linked. Why would you pay homage
please
to a person
respond
who
or not?
desecrated the constitution by
let
naming
me
your office
respond without
after Indira
interjections?
Bhavan?
Will you let me respond without interjections, or should I quit? Can I please speak without interjections? Indira Gandhi did impose the emergency. She's received a lot of flack for it. The Congress party has apologized for it, but at the
No.
same time, no, the Congress party has, and Dr. Ranganathan, I
No.
was not
When did you
countering, I was
apologize?
not interjecting when you were speaking.
Never apologize.
This is not done. This is not done, Rahul. You will not let me speak
What
for
has
10
happened
seconds.
to you,
Is this the
sir?
way you want to carry out
What is
the
the-
yo? I'm going to quit the debate. This is absolutely nonsense.
Who has?
And will you allow me to speak a single sentence without interjections? Will you allow me to speak a single sentence without interjections? You've been spreading
No, this is
falsehoods
too
here.
much.
Okay,
You
okay,
said
let him
Sardar Patel
finish.
had
Let
to
him
quit
finish.
Nehru.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Okay, let him finish. Yes, yes. Okay.
You said that Sardar Patel had to quit Nehru's cabinet. That's an absolute lie. He quit Nehru's cabinet only after he passed away on the 15th of December 1949,
Ambedkar.
right? 1950. That's an absolute lie that
Oh my
Sardar Patel
God.
quit Nehru's cabinet. No, you can't do an oh my God. Your viewers are
Okay,
free
viewers,
to go
I'm just done
Google,
with this
read
person.
history
Let's
books.
move on.
You are
Let's move
talking
on
about
because there is a
princely
very
states and
important
comparing it with
issue. It's
pauper
the
states. You're
pollution
not
issue.
understanding that there was
And I
one-
really want to move on to it. There's no point, viewers, because if people are going to rewrite history as we speak and basically engage in all sorts of silliness, then what is there to discuss, viewers? Let's move on. The Chief Justice of India has given up, viewers, yes, in a lament that reeks